Awesome, and we're back with Chameleon Twist 2, and Amahumahaba is here for us to do the run for Kishithon. Welcome in.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Awesome. So are you going to play as Brad?
Yeah, unless someone wants to pay me to play someone else. Well, pay you guys for me to play someone else. Yeah.
We're twisting and assisting in chat already, so.
We are twisting indeed. But yeah, so I'll be good to go whenever.
All right.
Yep, just give me a countdown.
Okay, so time starts on Chameleon select. So I'll just go in 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, so I'm Amahumahaba, and I am running Chameleon Twist 2 any %. It's a really neat category in a really awesome game, a cool 3D platformer where you play as a chameleon and you use your tongue for platforming. So I'm going to go for a trick here that's pretty hard to get. I have 3 1 in 7 chances to get a power up that I need to do it. So I'm just going to focus here for a moment. It's probably not going to happen, but it's like a 30-something second time save, so it's cool to go for. Alright, so we got a slowdown, which is pretty bad. This trick requires you to get a speed up, which makes you run really, really fast, which we did not get. And even once you get the speed ups, it's actually quite a difficult trick to pull off anyway. But yeah, it's a 3D platformer, and you do a lot of stuff with your tongue. You'll see the most common trick we do is called slingshots, where I'm going to hook to a wall and then launch off the wall in order to fly through the air. I'm actually pretty bad at this segment. So we're gonna do that the easy way. And I messed it up again. So I actually go for that skip in all runs that I went for and didn't get the speed up because I'm not very good at this segment, which is basically the first part of the game. But yeah, so we do a lot of skipping. There's a lot of death warping in any %. So you're gonna see I'll just randomly run off ledges or do slingshots. And what I'm doing when I'm falling and using the tongue, you maintain however much speed you have as long as your tongue is out. So I'll very frequently be using the parasol to float and using the tongue to maintain as much speed as I can. And the slingshots, which I'm about to do one, build up a lot of extra speed before you start doing that. And so that's the major movement in this game, because you're pretty much always flying like this. And so the movement at the end here, there's actually pretty much everybody I think does this a bit differently, but it's a huge time saves over waiting for these platforms that you're supposed to go on in specific orders, and they bring you to these different trees. But we can just skip all of that by taking advantage of the death planes, and so I hopped there to make sure I would actually hit the death plane to land on top of that log. And even when we're not doing slingshots, you'll see there's a lot of just retracting towards other walls just to move faster, because it's simply faster than walking. And so now we're going to enter the first boss fight. And so a thing to note, every boss in this game has a chance to freeze the game after you complete the boss. So if that happens, I do have a backup prepared. So we can do the rest of the levels. So we're going to go for a power up here, which is pretty uncommon in the boss fights. And what I'm trying to get is a 3 times or 2 times multiplier on the projectiles that I pick up. And that would allow me to kill the boss in 1 or 2 cycles instead of the 3 necessary if you don't get a good power up. Okay. So it's a bit slow on Skyland, but that's probably my worst stage, so hopefully from here out it'll be pretty solid. We're going to Carnival Land. This, in my opinion, is the stage with the hardest trick in the game. I think it requires very tight timing and angle, and it skips a lot of the stage, so that's called trapeze skip, and we'll see that later. A lot of this stage is just kind of walking in a straight line for a while, unlike the other stages, and then we just do giant skips closer to the end. And so what I did there, where it may look like I was losing time, I was actually jumping off the edge to reset these platforms that I'm now standing on, to put me on a point in the cycle where I can stand on them. So there's some of that as well, where you're resetting cycles by using death mechanics. And so another thing to note, when I'm doing slingshots like I just did, every frame that your tongue isn't out, you're losing speed and changing direction if you're holding in a different direction on the stick. So we want to have the tongue out as much as possible while moving through the air. And we're coming up on another pretty tricky part of this stage, which most people have practiced into the ground, so it shouldn't be too much of an issue. But the Ferris wheel has a lot of tricky movement where you can, if you're not moving fast enough, get stuck under objects, and it's easy to fall. And then here, we're going to do the skip off of the carousel, and I'm just going to slingshot for quite a while here. This skips a very large portion of this stage. I don't know if it's specifically been timed, because it's just such an obviously huge skip that everyone does it. But I would think it probably saves somewhere between 20 and 30 seconds. We try to do as little of the stages as possible, obviously. Oh. Oh, this is kind of an awkward death warp. Okay. And we get back to this point where there's a lot of kind of just line walking. There's just not great death warps at this area.
I just wanted to say real quick, we did get a donation while you were playing. Thank you so much for running for us. We got a $15 donation from Mama CJ saying happy to assist, and then another $5 from Anon. So thank you so much from Kishithon and everybody here at Speed Docs.
Oh, awesome. Alright, so this is the really difficult trick. This is trapeze skip. I think I got it. Yeah. Okay, so that skips another significant portion of the level. I'm just going to collect the hearts for marathon safety here. This is a fairly reset-heavy stage, just because of the trapeze skip and the Ferris wheel makes it pretty easy to lose a significant amount of time. And this game is pretty optimized at this point, so a lot of people are really just like, once you lose 10 seconds, it can get pretty rough. Now we're entering the second boss fight. This is the attack pattern of this hamburger is RNG based cheeseburger, actually. So it'll wait a certain amount of time to attack, and I don't know how long that's going to be, so we may have a very clean fight, or we may have to do multiple cycles. But this is looking pretty good. Okay. That's kind of a single cycle fight, so that's pretty good. Alright, so Iceland, once again we have another massive death warp skip. This skips most of the level in one go. Oh, I messed it up. You have to vault off of this ice, which is not the easiest thing to do, and then slingshot. And it's usually about 5 tongues. And so this is a pretty chill stage. It's usually more relaxed than the other stages because once you get past the Iceland skip, I think is what it's called, there's not a bunch of remarkably difficult platforming. So you kind of just have a chance to take it easy and I don't know, this is pretty much where my brain turns off in the run for a bit and I just kind of am able to space out and not have to think too much. There's one part
it's chill stage because of Iceland.
Not intentional, but yes. Absolutely. All of the adjectives for that, just, it's chill, it's cool, I mean, the options that work the best just sound good anyway. So we're about to enter probably one of the more difficult parts of the game for casual playthroughs, which is hockey. But I'm going to try to skip the whole thing here. I don't like that angle, but okay. So if you don't land in that goal, you end up bouncing all around the hockey ring, and it can be pretty tough to recover. And here, these moving stars aren't too bad as long as you maintain a decent line so that you can make this final jump here without falling. But if you do fall, you go all the way back to the beginning of the stars, which is one of the larger time losses I think that you can get in this run. This part's always a little sketchy. Okay. So we're just gonna slingshot off into the void, and as soon as the camera changes, we're good to let go, because we entered the next death zone. The sawfish are one of my favorite things in this game. Alright, so we're going to the third boss fight now. I don't know if this is an official name, but we call him Wheelris, which should be pretty apparent. It's a really neat boss, and it's one of the cooler boss fights because it has RNG-based projectile drops, which they definitely can make it a little bit difficult sometimes, but it also makes it very skill testing compared to some of the bosses. And so these are based on, as far as I can tell from my the research I was doing on it, there's an RNG seed based on the time that you enter the boss fight. And so when we reload save states to do the boss fight, it's always the same every single time, as long as you've entered at the exact same time. So you never really know what you're getting going into it because it's probably being calculated by the frame. So it's not something we currently plan around or manipulate.
Wow. I just want to interrupt you again. We had another donation for $25 from Upstate Sports Cars. Thank you so much.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, no, you keep doing you. You're doing amazing.
No, this is great. So far, this seems to be a pretty solid marathon. So that's awesome.
Oh, we're just getting started too. We did some Mario Party and now just you. So you're starting us off with the real gamer moments, huh?
Yeah, I came in earlier and I saw like probably an hour into the Mario Party run, I think, and it was already at like $200, which is absolutely awesome. Okay,
no,
this
and
was
it's still
not
going.
good.
It's awesome. So I'm gonna shut up though and let you do your thing.
No, you're good. So we're entering. This is probably the most difficult stage in the game. It has a lot of really difficult platforming and tricks. So this one I just did is called Boat Skip, or I hope I just did. We'll know when objects spawn into the game. Yep. So that saves a very significant amount of time, and it was quite difficult until recently, when we got we got a practice ROM that was made by one of our Chameleon Twist runners, and it gave us save states, and it instantly unlocked the ability for us to develop strats, because otherwise we used to have to spend minutes just to get to the point of trying a strat once. So it was very huge, and allows people to practice difficult tricks like that constantly, and definitely unlocked these games in a very big way. And from here it gets a pretty basic slingshotting. And I'm collecting these power-ups in hopes to get a speed-up power-up. I got one earlier, but it was in a useless spot to get it. And I'm collecting the heart here, just because this is the one stage where your hearts actually matter in the boss fight. Oh. Because you necessarily take damage during the fight in order to speed it up a lot. So we have this RNG based pattern that lights up here, and you just have to remember it really quick. It can be pretty much anything. I think twice now, maybe 3 times, we've actually seen it be just a straight line, which is pretty cool. And as far as we know, that hadn't happened until like a couple months ago. I just dodged that. If you get too close to that rabbit, it'll just forcibly talk to you, which is pretty annoying for the run. I don't think that's gonna work. Alright, I'm just gonna take that safe. Alright, and now we're coming up on another fairly new strat. This is 8-0 skip. And this skips a very significant, like 40-second segment of the stage. It's a bit tough, so I'll be quiet for a moment here. Nice. I believe I'm pretty much the only runner that goes for that version of the strat. There's a slightly faster version, but I haven't really been able to figure it out. I think it saves a few seconds. It's called Flickless. And once again, that was just born out of, like, us having save states. Everybody was looking everywhere to find giant skips, and a couple of them were found, and they are huge. We probably cut another minute off of this game. Alright, so this fight there's no RNG here. This is all just trying to memorize how you're supposed to do the shot patterns. I'm going to try to do this in 2 cycles. Ooh, I screwed up. Okay. It's been a bit since I've done this fight. A lot. So, I've done it a few times today. So we're probably going to see a 3-cycle frog fight here. Unless... Okay, no, we still got 2. So I think that was the last chance I had to take a shot at it. So you have 1 miss that you can get, basically, in order to do the fastest frog fight. Otherwise you have to jump into the pool again and respawn the frog. Alright, this is the level. This is my favorite level in the game. So this is Toyland. It's got a great song, great atmosphere, and some really cool platforming. And so, oh right. We're just going to slingshot off of here into the distance and hope that I got a good angle. Yep. And that's going to get us right here. And now we wait. So this stage is probably the most common stage to get the boss crash. So the game may crash after I defeat the boss. There's also a bunch of other goofy glitches in this that we found in this stage. One of these hammers once punched me through the floor in the middle of a run, and I don't think anybody knew that could happen yet. Oh, and so this is Chameleon Twist 2 is kind of similar to Chameleon Twist 1, but the movement is very slippery and you have a lot of freedom to improvise, whereas Chameleon Twist is very rigid. So there's not a huge amount of crossover on players that actually play both games, because they're really barely the same game. I'm gonna go for one more speed up here. Hopefully it's not a short slowdown. And so what this is invincibility. I just can't take damage. It's useful in, I think, Adoland, and that's it. Oh, okay. I fall a lot trying to do that trick, so I'm glad I didn't. We're going to try to cleanly fall into this teleport, and I'm going to try to do a trick here called card skip, which lets me slingshot and skip a card bridge, which is a good bit of extra time if you don't get a speed up. I didn't get the better version of it, but we still got something, so that's good. And anytime you see me connect to a wall and jump like this, I'm probably just trying to ensure that I'm hitting the death plane, because sometimes if you're too low, you actually will just go back to where you started. Alright, this trick has some goofy timing to it, so we're gonna see if we can do it. Okay, cool. So that lets us skip a section where we have to run around these giant blocks that are trying to flatten us. So now we have to wait for this clock to turn to noon, or 12. Whatever one it may be, I guess. And then we are at the boss fight. We're gonna fly this plane, which once you step on the plane, I think a frame after you're on it, you can't fall off, but it is possible to accidentally jump off that plane in soft lock. And we're gonna fight a giant robot. So the beginning of this fight is RNG. He'll either shoot robots at me, shoot a cannonball at me, or spin his arms, and we want the robots. Perfect. So this is the best possible start. And so now we're going to get an arm spin that happens after each attack, and this is for a semi-random amount of time, so you never really know where he's going to stop. That was pretty okay. The direction that the robots walk, as far as I know, is RNG, and it did not go well this time. And so we get more cannon shots as more damage is dealt to the robot. So the lower life, the more he'll shoot you. And split. Did we get a crash? We did not. Okay, so we should be in the clear to finish this without going to the backup. It would happen right as the screen goes black. It just never comes out. So now we're going to the final stage. This is the shortest stage, I believe. And it, for the most part, is pretty simple. There's one relatively difficult trick. And then we have an RNG boss fight. So we're just gonna slingshot over here and death warp. Saves a couple seconds. Do the same again. And this is a weird one. You have to do a very precise jump into Parasol in order to skip most of the stage. And Now we're going to enter the second part of the stage, which is inside the pyramid, and we're going to try to skip the whole of the inside of the pyramid as well. So pyramid skip, we're going to do a trick like what I did earlier in Ado Land, where I'm going to try to flick off of a pole here in order to gain an absolute ton of height. And then I'm going to slingshot. Ooh, that's not good. Alright, I did kind of save it. There's a... You can lose a lot of time if you fall there. Ugh, this is not going well. This trick is not super easy. You don't have a lot of extra tongue to work with. That's weird. I'm just going to take it safe. And so I probably won't land on the platform here, but I should get the death warp. Yeah, okay. I usually go for a bit more of an exaggerated angle to try to get a really fast movement where I land over on this platform. But we just want to finish the game. Okay, so we have to kill these two chests. They're pretty easy in the Japanese version. They have a lot more health in the US version. Oh. And so they just take 3 shots each, and we are on our way to the boss. Now the boss has 3 randomly determined places it can attack from, so it's going to teleport to one of those, and then it also has 3 different attack patterns. Or, sorry, 4 different attack patterns. The first one's going to be red flames, the second one's going to be purple flames, and the purple flames has a random of whether the flames track you or they are randomly placed. I don't know this pattern. Okay, we did pretty good. So now it's going to teleport to a random pillar, and we'll get a random purple flame. Okay, we got tracking, so that's pretty good. So I can probably get 2 cycle kill here. And the tracking flame allows us to manipulate the position of the flames as they fall, so that we can grab a lot of them and shoot them really quick. Alright, we didn't get the 2 cycle, but we have a very easy 3 cycle. So I'm just going to take damage here intentionally, so I can gather a bunch of flames while I'm invincible and shoot him, and that is time. That fight can kill runs all day long.
Wow.
So you have to learn specific tongue shape patterns for all of the different ways that the red flames come out as well. So it's kind of there's a lot of prep going into that boss fight, and I actually haven't really learned that right side one.
No, still, you saved it a couple times. There were a few times that you seemed a little stressed, but you had it.
Oh yeah, it was a solid run. I'm happy with the 27.
Oh yeah, that's great. And you already have GGs in chat. Thank you, everybody here.
Yeah, much appreciated.
Yeah, and no, please tell us where we can find you, and because you came to us and you're filling in on a random fundraiser all of a sudden. So thank you for being here.
Oh yeah, always glad to do runs. I occasionally stream just at Twitch /Amahumahaba. I do Chameleon Twist 2, maybe Chameleon Twist 1, Ocarina of Time, and the occasional Mario run. And looking to pick up more games. So it's a lot of variety. But I more often than not come out of the woodwork for marathons.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much. That's it for Chameleon Twist 2 today. We're going to follow up with Hollow Knight right after a quick break here.
Sounds great.
to something that it's the first time this is initial.
I've arrived. How about that? I am arriving!
And I am going to go clean and nap, and then I'll be back.
You're gonna be back tomorrow, right?
Oh, and I'll be back tomorrow, yes.
And you
like first thing,
are-
right?
Fun fact, are you making your run debut?
Because I'm gonna be on Wheel of Fortune.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never done a run with you guys before.
You've never done, this is your first time.
Yeah.
Wow. Well,
And
we'll
it's
all be looking for that.
game show, so it'll be great. Yeah. No, thank you so much. Okay, I'll be in chat.
All right.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
guys.
Bye-bye now.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Kishithon. I hope y'all are having a great day. Thank you, Amma, for that great run. Coming up next, we have Hollow Knight 106% by Visuals. He will be joined by Mr. Sir 71. Later on deck, we have Hades 3 weapons. It's a pretty fun schedule, if I do say so myself. We have Hades today, After Image by Archelena. We have Arto by Song of Soil, near Automata by Sugoi, and then Miku Muku Dancerama with Miyu and Ezra. So, a lot of homies on the schedule today, and we will be getting into the Grace homies later in the day. So, coming up next, we do have Hollow Knight by Visuals, 106%, fresh off of his run at the SDAT 2023 to benefit Save the Children. I believe you all were there. It is almost Viz time. It is almost Viz time. All right, folks, we're going to take a quick pause for the cause. We are going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we'll be live with Hollow Knight 106% by Visuals. Stay tuned.